Listen, I made a video about OBS animations and we made this. As stated in the video, this is not something that I usually do. I don't use OBS in order to do motion graphics, so my knowledge is very limited. That being said, I got a few comments telling me that there are simpler ways of achieving what I did without using StreamerBot. So today we're gonna put this new knowledge into practice. We are going to be creating this using only OBS Studio and a few plugins. I'm so excited to show you how, but first, let's thank our sponsor. And today's sponsor is Owned Pro. Owned is already known for having the biggest overlay and alerts pack on the internet. But using your free Owned Pro account, you can install them with one click. You also get access to a Twitch chatbot, a customizable dashboard, a huge library of alerts, you have gold bars, you have countdown feature, there's a link spree, a donation page, you can check your stats. I already mentioned a gazillion overlays, royalty-free music, and pretty cool Twitch extensions. This one gives you animated panels. This one will show up alerts even if you're streaming from console. And this one lets you trigger alerts that will show up on your whole screen. So go check it out over at own.gg/GaelLevelPro. That is own3d.gg/GaelLevelPro. So here we are in OBS Studio, and basically this is what we're gonna be using. So we're still using the Move plugin, previously known as Move Transition, except now no StreamerBot, everything is calculated just in there. All right, so let's begin. I'm gonna delete this forever. Create a new scene, name it what you want. Add a new source, and we're gonna go find a color source. I'm gonna call it back for a background. I'm gonna select the color. Actually, I like this color. Under the width and height, I'm actually gonna try to set it so it matches what I want without having to scale it. So let's go for 1000 by 200. I'm gonna right click on it. I'm gonna go to transform and then center to screen or Control D. Now I went and got myself the OBS shader filter by Exaldro. And we're gonna be using this because there's one very, very simple function, and that is select the layer, filters, plus it's called user defined shader. Click OK, and we're gonna find load shader from text file, browse, and we will find rounded rectangle. There's multiple, you can play around with them. Rounded rectangle shader, boom. And then here I can set the corner radius. 40 looks nice, click close. That's one rectangle. Right click on it, copy, right click elsewhere and click duplicate. Paste duplicate. We're gonna change the color by clicking here. And let's say I wanna go with this. Cool. Now we're gonna have a layer on top that has that. You can also change the size or just scale it. I'm gonna change the size. I'm gonna set it to 500 by 100 and I'm gonna place it here. I can rename this by pressing F2. Then I'm gonna right click. Remember, we still have the first one copied. Paste duplicate, select color. Then I'm gonna click pick screen color to color pick. Click OK. So we created another one basically. And for this one, I'm gonna double click. I just wanna modify the width. Actually, let's go 210. Nice. Now I can drag it a little bit. Okay, I lied. I want it to be a little bit bigger. 230. Right click, transform, center vertically. There we go. Rename it by pressing F2. Let's add text. I'm gonna type your name. Select the font. Do whatever you want with that part. Click OK and place it. Just adjust it until it looks good to you. I'm gonna readjust the height there. Now there's something that I want to do, that I need to do actually, is select the purple square. I'm gonna press Control E. And I'm gonna set the positional alignment to center. It's gonna throw it off, but that's fine. Same thing with this one, same thing with that one, and same thing with the text, because why not? Now you get to place them back. So for the back, right click, Control D was to center it. This one we're gonna place roughly. I'm gonna change the color on that. Cool. All right, I'm gonna duplicate the text to add a little text here. Copy, paste, duplicate, change the text, switch the color, then place it. Switch the font, we want that to be regular. Then we're gonna add an image source. We're gonna add this Twitch logo. Place it, remember Control E. You don't necessarily have to do the center thing. It depends on the animation that you want, but if I want to scale it from the center, I have to do that. Okay, cool. So basically this is your social media thing. It's already cool that you can create this with just OBS, but now let's animate it. So we have the Move plugin installed, remember that. I'm gonna right click on the animation scene and I'm gonna click on filters. I'm gonna bring that here, I'm gonna click plus and I'm gonna click move source. And I wanna name this one reset. We're not gonna pick anything else. I'm gonna duplicate this and I'm gonna call this one animation play, or just play actually. And from there, we can create the animation in reverse order. So right now, this is basically the middle state of the animation. We want it to start. It's gonna pause there because that's what you're displaying. And then it needs to go back to where it was, hopefully like hidden, right? So I need to record all the states of all the sources. So let me duplicate this one and this one will be back, but on. So under source, I'm gonna pick back. We're gonna keep it at 300 milliseconds for now. And I'm gonna click get transform. And basically what was missing from my other video that makes it different now is all of the other options basically that I kept ignoring, like a start delay or end delay. If we scroll down a little bit, we can actually set the visibility so that when the animation triggers, we can decide to show it at the start or to hide it at the start or show only during the movement and things like that, which is very important. But for some reason, I just ignored that part. I was like, oh, I don't get all that. There's also start trigger, stop trigger. In our case, we just want to click on the little eye. And then there's simultaneous move, and next move on. And that's how we'll create the chain reaction, because one of those filters can trigger all the other filters. It can even reverse itself. But let's keep it simple and just continue. So we click get transform. Let's duplicate this. And this one is the button. Select button. This one is the text that goes with the button. Follow on. I forgot to rename this one. And of course, don't forget to click get transform for each. Get transform. This one is the square. Pick the square. Get transform. This one is the name. Pick the name. Get transform. And this one is the logo. Pick the logo. Get transform. Now we can do the same, but with the off state. Also in order. So I'm going to start with back, duplicate. And this one will be back off. Back off. And I'm going to select that back layer, press Ctrl E, and I'm going to set the size to 0 pixels. I'm also going to set the size to 0 pixels. Here, I'm going to click close. With this selected, back is selected, click get transform. But now if I click on back on, this is the animation that I get. Now on back on, I can play around with the easing functions. Bounce, for example, will give us, I like it. And let's continue animate the rest. Okay, quickly, for the follow text, I made sure to go in visibility and I set it to show at the start of movement, because for the follow off, I want it to move, of course, but I also want it to hide at the end of the movement, because this will be part of the reset basically. Something else I can do, since we're playing with the visibility, is right click and go to show transition, and I could do a fade. So now when I click on follow on, it will fade in. I could also set it to fade out. Let's do that. Hide transition, fade. And actually set this to hide at the beginning, at the start of the movement. So as soon as it starts moving, it starts hiding. There we go. All right, let me do the rest. Square off, lol. And for the name, basically I would like the square to reveal it. When I turn the square on, so basically I set it to turn off at the end. When the square goes like this, I also want the name to basically swipe. And I believe we have transitions that do that. So all I have to do is click on the name and find the proper show transition. We do have swipe here. Let's preview it. It's exactly what we need. We just got to match the perfect timing. And we also have to set it so that when the square goes on, the simultaneous move will also be for the name to go on. That way, if I have square off and name off, I haven't set the name off yet. We can just set that to visibility, hide at the start. There we go. Now, if I click on square on, I should probably set it so that name on shows at the start of the movement. Okay, square off, name off, and now square on. Nice. Okay, so the timing is not perfect, but we can play around with that. Just right clicking in right there, show transition. Let's put it to 600 or faster. There it is. I ended up putting it at 300 milliseconds, but now square on will reveal the name. This is nice. Okay, just the logo to do and then we're done. Okay, the logo is done. I did a rotation and also starting from scale 0. Basically, starting from a scale of 0 helps me not having to hide it or play with the transparency or anything like that. I love that, the elastic easing function for 1500 milliseconds. So good. Now that I have all of my filters ready, what I'm gonna do is basically, I'm just gonna go back and make sure they follow the right order. So if I click on off, basically, I need everything to disappear. The first thing that will happen is back on, and the next one is button on. So in back on, I want to scroll down to next move or simultaneous move if I want them to happen pretty much at the same time. I want to go with simultaneous move. So then on button on, I can pick the next move to be my text. So follow on. And that's the reason why I set them in chronological order, basically. Follow on happens like this. Once it's over, I want square on to happen. We remember that square on will also automatically set up name on. Ooh, this is so good. So we can directly go to name on and make it trigger the logo on, which will look like this. Yeah, that's it. That's the animation. Of course, I'm gonna go on the off part and I'm gonna do the same thing. choosing the proper order. The reason why I put a play button is to make it more clear, but technically I can set it so that, yeah, if I just click back on, technically that's our play button. Same thing for the reset button. I can set it so that logo on, which is the last thing that happens, has an end delay of however long I want the whole animation to start. And then this one can trigger basically all of them back to back. Let's do that. Let's delete the play and reset so that comments don't say that I'm overcomplicating stuff. Rightfully so. So after the logo shows up, I want 5,000 milliseconds, 5 seconds. And then the next move needs to be from the bottom up. I also realize this is not chronological anymore. You get the point. You get the point. You choose the order. Next move is name off, square off. Next move is follow off. Next move is button off. And next move is back off. Okay, logo on, 5 seconds, and then it should turn off by itself. There we are. Okay, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So one button, one click, one hotkey, if you will. It goes in. Waits the amount of seconds that you want. I'm gonna put it to 2 seconds just for this demonstration. So yeah, if you still want your chat to be able to trigger it, maybe with channel points or whatever animation you make, you can still set it up with StreamerBot to just activate this one filter. And it will do the whole thing. So to be clear, the techniques that I used are saving the transform positions, Control E in order to edit to set things to center. That's how I have the logo basically coming from the center like that, scaling up. And I just set it to 0 on the logo off. I used hide transition and show transition to like fade in and out, but to also swipe. There's also a bunch of Luma wipe transition that you should use. In the move transition plugin, I have used visibility to hide things at the start of the movement or to show things at the start of a movement. I also use simultaneous move, next move, and in order to let the animation sit on logo on, I used end delay. So it plays the animation, but it's like, okay, the animation ended, but let's delay the end. 1, 2, and then it's gonna back off. There you go. All right, one more time, because this is gonna be the promo on Twitter. One-click animation in OBS Studio. And there it is, with 2 plugins, and one of them was just to round the rectangles. And there it is. The goal was just to spark your creativity and basically make you think outside the box using a broadcasting software in order to create motion design. OBS is definitely not a software made for this. It's not the best software for this, but if you have no other tools, I want to prove that it is possible. I'm super grateful to the people who commented on my previous video, allowing me to learn a little bit more and make it better for you. If you have any tips and tricks to make this even more accessible, just let me know in the comment section below. In the meantime, I am raising money in order to buy a laser cutter for a fellow content creator who's starting a custom neon business. Check out the pinned comment if you want to help. Follow me on Twitch, and I will see you all next time. Go out there, make me proud, get a level, out.